All right, Tom Collins here with episode 3 of Read 'em and Reap, and once again we are going to be talking about the book Mindshift by Barbara Oakley. Subtitle is Break Through Obstacles to Learning and Discover Your Hidden Potential. Yvonne is going to be moderating and wrangling comments. And
say hi to Bill Ward.
Hey Bill Ward, how are you doing?
I'm Monique. Hi, Monique.
Hi, Monique. All right, she will chime in. I've told her to feel free to interrupt, and I will do my best to pause now and then and check in with her. I'm not going to obviously try to cover the entire book. I want to give you a few tastes of some of the possibly counterintuitive but really important concepts that she talks about. Dr. Oakley is a scientist specifically interested in learning and teaches a couple of online courses that are among the largest in the world, focused on that area. So in the chapter that is titled Leveling the Educational Playing Field, she tells the story of a young man from Singapore who struggled in school and now runs a company helping others catch up with their education. Singapore has a really interesting system where through a partnership among government agencies, the private sector, and individual trade unions and people in the labor market, they have developed a system encouraging everyone in the country to what they call second skill, develop resources for being able to earn a living regardless of what your employer may do, or maybe your entire industry disappears as several have in our lifetimes. So it's a really interesting background for education and lifelong learning. The mind shift that she talks about, there's 3 or 4 of these in every chapter in the book she calls mind shifts. And this one says the hidden good side of a poor working memory. You might know that there's only so much you can hold in your memory at a conscious level at the same time. And it turns out, at least the latest neuroscience research indicates that you might be able to hold 4 things in your working memory on average at a time. Some people can do more and others a little less, but that's the average. And the insight that she says is when you think you might be struggling to hold something difficult in mind as you're trying to understand it, remind yourself that your struggles may well arise in tandem with your creativity. It turns out you wouldn't want to trade your creative streak, even if it does mean that sometimes you need to work a little harder at learning stuff. And that arises out of some research that seems to indicate people with more demonstrated creativity tend to have a little less working memory. I'm guessing that means more of their brain is devoted to creativity. And as she said, that's not a bad trade-off.
Tom?
Yes, sure.
There's a funny background noise that sounds like your microphone is, it's like the kind of sound you get when you bang on a microphone.
Interesting, because I'm not hearing that.
Okay. I don't know if anyone else is hearing it, but I'm hearing it.
All right. With any luck, it won't be in the recording. So yeah, don't feel bad if you struggle a little bit with working memory. One of the things in Dr. Oakley's course on learning how to learn is that she provides a bunch of tricks you can use to help with your focused concentration and learning better. All right, the second key mind shift is in the next chapter, and the title of this chapter is Avoiding Career Ruts and Dead Ends. And if you know anything about my old dog learning work, this was a chapter that was really important to me. She tells the story in this one of her co-instructor in the Learning How to Learn course, Dr. Terry Sanowski, who's at San Diego State, and he started his career as a physicist, and he was a PhD, was considered a leading young mind in the physics area. And at some point along the way, and I'm not going to dig out exactly when, he decided that the space he was most interested in was not outer space, but inner space, your brain. So he basically dropped out of physics, started over again in neuroscience, and has become a professor of neuroscience at Cal San Diego. So the insight in that chapter is that you only have so much cognitive energy. This one is called selective ignorance. You only have so much cognitive energy. Be selective about what you choose to become an expert in. You don't want to be typecast as an expert in areas that you don't want to spend time on. Now, from my personal experience, this really resonated with me because when I left the practice of law, I attempted to start a consulting business, teaching my brethren how to use the desktop computing power that was sitting right in front of them. And I well remember that I was pretty well typecast as a lawyer and appellate advocate at the time, and had a very difficult time being seen among the people who knew me in a completely different role. So yeah, don't spread yourself too thin, I guess, is another way of saying that. And I'll pause. Anything in the comments I need to check in on?
No, people must be listening. Amanda's here, Amanda Yantos. And
hi, Amanda.
And Steve Chapman, so all's good.
Yeah. The third, I skipped too far ahead here, sorry. The third mind shift I wanted to touch on is in a chapter called Turning Midlife Crisis into a Midlife Opportunity. And one of the sub-points she's talking about is in this mind shift she calls background noise. A little intermittent background noise can allow us to more easily alternate between focused and diffuse modes. This is especially useful in learning that encompasses new concepts, approaches, or perspectives. And I mentioned in the comment stream earlier that this one might help explain Yvonne's prolific and creative writing ability. The focused and diffuse modes that she's talking about have to do with how your brain works when you are concentrating hard on a specific topic to either learn something new or express yourself. That's called the focus mode. And the diffuse mode is when your brain is working in the background, probably on the same problem, but you're not consciously thinking about it. And the way she describes this is in if you're a runner, or you tend to get great ideas when you're in the shower. And both of those things happened to me, so I knew exactly what she was talking about here. Your brain is working in diffuse mode even when you're not thinking about the problem, and that's why when you're learning new stuff, it's recommended that you stay in focused mode in short bursts, and then step away and let your brain play around in the background on the problem. It's a good way to get unstuck if you're trying to work through a problem. So Yvonne, was there anything you wanted to say about that? I know you love having the TV or some kind of white noise because you don't really pay attention to it while it's on. But
I don't, but I also have ringing in my ears, but Amanda Yanto says she gets great ideas lying in bed at night. So
there you go.
if we find her, she needs to write those down. I'm just wondering if Monique has that happen to her in photography.
Yeah, as an especially creative person.
Yeah, she always gets ideas in the shower like you do.
Yeah.
He comes out, just for everybody, he comes out of the shower and then he has a half an hour. I just thought of this or that. And I know a lot of people do that. I don't. I'm in the shower, I get done, I get out. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's why I was thinking your brain may work better when, as she said, that having background noise allows your brain to slide back and forth between focused and diffuse modes. So this probably is happening pretty much continually while you're working.
Yeah, and Bill Ward, he says his best ideas come when he steps away. What does that mean, Bill?
Yeah.
They leapfrog. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe he'll tell us a little more.
Yeah. Well, if I'm getting him, that would mean getting up and going and get a cup of coffee, or wander in the hallway, or just taking a break. Basically, is a good way to step away and let your diffuse mode kick in. So, all right, I guess that covers what I intended to cover. If there are no other questions, we can wrap this up. But yeah, I cannot overstate how much I recommend getting hold of this book, Mindshift. Barbara Oakley, PhD, and yeah, let some of her ideas sink in and help you. All right. Next week, we are going to be at an all-day conference in Denver, and I have reached out to a woman I met who's going to be there and has written a book for millennials, and I don't have a confirmation yet about whether we'll be able to do a live broadcast from the event, but if not, I'll think of something. My intention is to broadcast next week, perhaps I'll look at the schedule, but perhaps in the noon hour, and certainly I'll let you know on the page what the topic will be and exactly when we'll try to do it. So for now, signing off, Tom Collins, Old Dog Learning. Yep. Yvonne, did you want to say something?
Well, it's just, I think this was a really good conversation starter. We had some things in the comments that look interesting from Bill and Steve Chapman. And why was the book cover backwards on your promo video? That's a good question. Your promo video was backwards, and on this one
I can tell you why. We're broadcasting now Facebook Live, but through the Zoom.us tool. And in Zoom, it allows you, if you look behind me, that's a picture. That's actually my desk, so I would have to be sitting backwards to have it actually look like that. You can put different backgrounds behind you. So there's a green screen back there, and when you're using the green screen and an image, it tells you not to turn on the reverse, the mirror tool in the video. But when I did the one yesterday, I didn't go through Zoom. I just did a quick Facebook Live. So the camera was still shooting everything backwards. Didn't notice it until after I had stopped recording.
Isn't smart enough to figure that out.
Yeah, you would think. You would think I would have noticed the big green screen behind me, but I
Yeah, I saw it, but I didn't even think about it. The other thing is that where can people sign up so they get a notice for this, or should we have them go to the site and sign up for the newsletter?
Well, yeah, the newsletter is going to be an important place. I'm not publishing yet, but I do hope people will sign up on the list because that's where you'll get the first notice when the 100 Plus Life community is ready to start and take members. And I do intend to start very soon sending out weekly newsletters to that list. So if you go to olddoglearning.com and sign up for the newsletter, your reward will be you'll get a copy of my 100 plus life manifesto. It's got some fun little observations on living better as we all live longer. So yeah, urge you to sign up for the newsletter list. Be patient with me as I keep building all this stuff out. It's just me back here. I don't have a team of developers. So anyway, anything else, Yvonne?
I'm just telling them to bring all their friends next week. We'll do something.
Yeah,
we might do a song and a dance.
Fun. Maybe we'll just grab somebody wandering by and make them a guest. Who knows? It's going to be a great conference. It's about multi-generational entrepreneurship.
Hi, Melissa. I'm sorry.
There's a great quote on the page it's forgennow.com, and it talks about if you're thinking about starting up a new business, find a partner who's half your age or twice your age. And what I say is, why not get one of each? So yeah, it's going to be a fun conference. A lot of good speakers, and like I said, I'll find somebody to talk about a book relevant to that topic next time. All righty.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.